Jonathan Turley is watching all of this with us today. It is a stunning indictment. Jonathan Turley, George Washington University constitutional law attorney, Fox News contributor. You know him well. Jonathan, your thoughts as you hear what was just laid out and we all get a look at this actual indictment.
Well, it's breathtaking. This is a city that has a fair amount of corruption in it. It's not the inclination of corruption that makes Senator Menendez stand out. It's his appetite, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. After just 6 years ago dodging a bullet with a hung jury on what many thought was a strong corruption case, the government is alleging that Menendez went right back and continued the same pattern. But what's really striking here is the payment of things like gold and cash. This is a city that has a little more finesse when it comes to influence peddling and access. This is sort of old school bribery. And what's really striking about the indictment is the level of evidence that they've gathered. They're saying that they have fingerprints of the Menendez, the DNA evidence connected to some of these gifts. That's going to be really overwhelming in a trial.
Yeah. There's a long history of corruption in New Jersey politics. Perhaps things are done a little bit differently there. Nothing has been proven in this particular case. I'm from New Jersey, so I can say that. It has gone on for a long time. This is one side of the story that has been laid out by the Southern District of New York, but it is stunning. And Jonathan, the thing that really leaps out, I think, is the allegation of providing sensitive U.S. government information to the government of Egypt. Your thoughts on that?
Well, that's what makes this particularly serious. He was the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and they re-upped him as chairman. Even with all of his past corruption allegations, the majority still made him chairman again. And that gave him a position of considerable power, particularly with regard to foreign interests. And many of these countries have long corruption histories themselves. What's really telling about this indictment, and you're absolutely right to say this is just an accusation, it is an indictment, has to be proven, but what the government describes as finding cash stuffed in clothes and hidden in spaces, finding gold bars, having a luxury car that they claim was not paid for by the Menendez. All of that presents a real nightmare for defense counsel. Ultimately, I don't believe the court will let in Senator Menendez's past history. It's very likely the jury won't know about that. But just on the face of this indictment, he's got a major problem here. The last time when the jury hung, many were surprised when the Department of Justice just dropped all the charges.
Yeah.
That's obviously not going to happen here. I mean, this is an even stronger case, and the evidence is quite overwhelming on first blush.
It also talks about an effort to put pressure on a U.S. Agriculture Secretary in a case that related to these individuals, also to disrupt a criminal investigation that was going on in the New Jersey Attorney General's office, who was a relative of Uribe. So that's also one of these counts here. Then another criminal investigation that was going after Davies. So, it's interesting that he, according to this indictment, was willing to try to use his influence to let these guys off the hook. So if that's the case, Jonathan, what does your experience tell you they had on him where he would be willing to step in and interfere in these different cases to try to get this individual and the other individual's relative off the hook with the New Jersey Attorney General?
Well, if these allegations are true and these gold bars and cars and other luxury items were indeed supplied by these same individuals, that is precisely what they have on him. I mean, this is as I noted, sort of an old-fashioned form of corruption, the actual handing over of pieces of gold and cash. that gives them a great deal. I mean, once you engage in a corrupt conspiracy, you're in for penny or a pound, because not only do they have need of you, you suddenly have need of them, because they have the goods on you if they've delivered these types of things.
Yeah.
So if this pans out, if these facts are borne out in trial, he could be looking at very significant time in jail. And the intervention in the criminal case is particularly stunning, because you're talking about an individual who's been accused of bribery and corruption for decades. He was tripping wires all over the field. I mean, he was doing things connected to his position as chairman of the committee. He was getting involved, according to the Department of Justice, in pending criminal prosecutions. And I think you're absolutely right here, that even for someone who may be inclined to a certain degree of corruption, and even someone that had an appetite for it, this was incredibly reckless. I mean, Menendez knew that he was sort of a marked man after that first trial, yet something prompted him to take all of these risks.
Yeah, it's stunning, and also risk his wife going to jail. And, her role in all of this is obviously under investigation as well.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.